Wacha wangoje. Watajua wakati wao. 2032 watajua shida ya kutafuta pesa.
Taming the rebellion. Uhuru and Ruto canvass Nakuru and Baringo.
We would like to see a Kenya that is at peace with itself. A leadership in Kenya that is responsible.
Playing with fire. Integration Commission slams media and politicians over hate speech.
What I can only say is they have encountered good oil shows.
Getting richer. Kenya finds more oil in Kerio Valley.
Mimi kiranja wa shule, hata wa darasa, mimi wa nini tena, prefect wa class, wa darasa.
And Narok boy defies disability to provide shining leadership to schoolmates.
Good evening and many thanks for joining us on the program. I am Ben Kitili from the KTN News Center in Nairobi. KTN Prime begins now. And we begin in the Kenyan Rift Valley, where President Uhuru Kenyatta has begun a spirited campaign to consolidate political strongholds just weeks after the grueling contest against rebels in the Kericho County race. President Kenyatta began his two-day tour of the region with a jab at those opposing Deputy President William Ruto's hold on that region, telling them that any person with ambitions for State House must wait until the year 2032.
Stepping out into what has in the past few days been the murky politics of the Rift Valley, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto began a two-day charm offensive in the region with a visit to Eldama Ravine in Baringo County, the home turf of KANU Chairman Gideon Moi, loaded with a barrage of verbal missiles.
Kura sio yako, ni ya wananchi jameni. Wananchi wataamua wakati ukifika. Omba pole pole, tulia. Kuna haja ya matusi, mambo mengi. La. Na ukiona wewe umesema sio mimi.
And even though the head of state itinerary indicated that he was here to launch development projects, including the 5.5 billion shillings Chemasus Dam, this county, which is largely considered a KANU stronghold, presented the perfect ground for the Jubilee Brigade to fire some more salvos at Rebel Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto, who has been sympathetic to the Okoa Kenya referendum push, a rebellion that saw Isaac's People's Patriotic Party join forces with the Independence Party KANU during the recent hotly contested Kericho senatorial by-election.
Sisi tunazunguka dunia mzima tukitafuta, alafu tukizunguka kupata wanakuja kusema ati tunazunguka ovyo. Wacha wangoje. Watajua wakati wao. 2032 watajua shida ya kutafuta pesa.
We don't want to be told every day kaeni hivyo hivyo, ngojeni tuwe rais 2017 na 2022. 2017 nani amekuambia tutakupigia kura?
Nia ya Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta na sisi ni kuunganisha watu wote wa Kenya bila ya kujali mahali wametoka, dini yao, kabila yao, kwa sababu Kenya hii ni moja.
The Kericho senatorial by-election campaigns is the most recent outright display of the deep-seated cracks in the Jubilee House in the South Rift, where the Jubilee coalition, however, easily clinched the seat, despite President Kenyatta's absence from the campaigns. And his two-day tour of the region, which ends with his visit to Nakuru on Thursday, is until now the Jubilee coalition's most audacious move to reclaim their hold on the region.
2017 hizo chama yote ya URP na TNA na New Ford Kenya na UDF na wale wengine tutaunganisha iwe ni chama moja ya Wakenya wote ya Jubilee.
All we are saying is that we want those leaders who made promises to our people to keep their promises.
Lakini usione kila kitu unaona ni mbaya ati kwa sababu sio mkono wako ulifanya. Hata mwingine anaweza kufanya kitendo kizuri.
Uhuru and Ruto are keen to popularize the yet-to-be-launched Jubilee Party, which the duo insist will be their political wagon in 2017 and ultimately in 2022, when Ruto wants to make a stab at the presidency. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Thank you, Muremi. Now, allow me to introduce to you the next big thing in the Kenyan media. The latest addition to KTN's exceptional pool of talent, KTN's Akisa Ondera. Akisa, welcome to KTN.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell us exactly what is at stake for the Jubilee Coalition in the Rift Valley.
Yes, Ben, thank you. Of course, this visit comes barely a week after we had the Kericho by-election that saw JAP and KANU get into a grueling battle for votes. But this particular visit comes amid rebellion from different quarters, especially in the South Rift, and that's what we're going to be looking at this moment. Of course, we start off with Baringo County, where we have faced a lot of rebellion, not only against Deputy President William Ruto, but also against the much talked about Jubilee Alliance Party that was supposed to be launched this week, but I understand that it has been cancelled for various reasons. But looking at Baringo County, we see that we have 695,879 registered voters. These are not votes that they would take lightly. These are votes that President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto will seek to amass come the general election in the year 2017. And just looking at the dynamics and the number of leaders from various parties in Baringo County, TNA comes in top with 8 members of parliament. This is Nakuru County, beg your pardon. In Nakuru County, we have TNA with 8 members of parliament, KANU with 1 member of parliament. We have 1 coming in from ODM and URP 1. Nakuru County, really, we are seeing the president seek to get in and try and talk the voters into going back to the Jubilee Alliance Party. Of course, former President Daniel Arap Moi has a lot of influence in Nakuru. But moving on to Bomet County, this is a county they cannot afford to ignore because their leader, Isaac Ruto, is one of the most vocal leaders against Deputy President William Ruto and all the elected Bomet leaders. Interestingly, even with the rebellion, all the elected Bomet members of parliament, of course even the governor and the senator, are from URP, getting into Kericho County, where, as I had earlier mentioned, we saw a grueling battle barely a week ago between KANU, which is of course has Moi and his son Gideon Moi, who is the Baringo senator, and the Jubilee Alliance Party that of course clinched, but we had more than 50,000 people vote for KANU, meaning there's so many dissatisfied voters in Kericho, and this is a county that also the president and his deputy cannot afford to ignore. We have 290,102 registered voters, and all the leaders are from URP and JAP. They will seek to have it remain as is, of course, as we head into the year 2017. Right now, of course, we are looking at 4 counties in the South Rift that are seen to have the most rebellious. And finally, we get into Nandi County. Of course, when we mention Nandi County, Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter comes to mind. But just looking at all the elected leaders come from URP, even Alfred Keter, with his rebellion and his vocal participation both in parliament and outside. Of course, he's voiced against corruption and whatnot. So tonight we were just looking at Nandi County, Kericho County, Bomet County and Baringo County in the South Rift that both President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto will seek to amass votes and convince the voters why they need not go on the other side. I will hand it over back to you, Ben.
Indeed, Akisa, the President and Jubilee have their work cut out in the Rift Valley.
They do.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Stay with KTN News for the most qualified analysis of the President and Jubilee's visit to the South Rift. Now, moving on, the Kenya National Cohesion and Integration Commission says it's shocked at the level of impunity, arrogance and recklessness shown by senior political leaders, whipping up ethnic tensions in the country. NCIC Chair Francis Ole Kaparo says careless utterances by political leaders and party activists continue to polarize the nation, setting dangerous grounds for conflict in the 2017 electioneering period. KTN's Duncan Haimba now reports.
For the last 2 months, Kenyans have witnessed bitter exchanges between the ruling Jubilee coalition and the opposition alliance called leaders, bitter political rivalry, largely occasioned by the recently concluded Malindi parliamentary by-election.
Kwani Kenya ni ya nani? Kenya ni ya Wakenya. Sote? Yeah. So mtupatie heshima. Sawa. Unapewa respect. Waiti tumejaribu yangu. Mimi usitawahi kunijaribu waiti. Don't try me. No. Wewe hata usinijaribu. Mimi pia usinijaribu. Kwani mimi unafikiri ni nani? Mimi ndiko wamoja kwa njao unafikiri.
But it's the by-election aftermath that has escalated the bitter rivalry, and now pundits say if this continues unchecked, it might set a dangerous tone towards the 2017 general election.
Lakini nataka niseme nina uchungu. Na kama leo haki ni hii, wa Kenya jitayarisheni. Mwaka wa 2017 hakutokuwa na uhuru wa kupiga kura katika nchi yetu.
Na nataka nimwambie Marwa, he has rattled a snake and he should be prepared to be beaten by that snake.
You can't challenge the government. Hata kama wewe ni nani? And more so when General Ngaisere is in charge of security.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCIC has expressed its disappointment, saying the recent events are a clear indication of how low the country has sunk.
We would like to see a Kenya that is at peace with itself, a leadership in Kenya that is responsible, that cares about the people, that has plans to sell to the people, not hate, not spite, not insults, and not exclusion.
In October 2015, Chief Justice Dr. Willy Mutunga raised the alarm, calling on the government machinery to rein in on hate mongers before it's too late. However, the commission appears to be turning the heat on the media.
It isn't the responsibility of the police to instill political good manners. Indeed, it is your responsibility as the press to highlight those who engage in actions or utterances or behavior that is antisocial, that is threatening to society, that is not expected of a leader. That is the business of the press. It's not the business of the police.
In a bid to tighten the noose on hate mongers, NCIC says it has come up with a new strategy to block any attempts of using reconciliation once a matter is before court. For instance, in the case of political analyst Mutahi Ngunyi.
We will not do reconciliation because people turn it into a joke.
Of the 18 cases NCIC has forwarded to the judiciary, only 3 have been dispensed with and convictions handed, while 14 cases are in various stages. Duncan Haimba, KTN News.
Will bring you in association with DSTV.
Important conversation as Kenya heads into the election cycle. And on our big question discussion tonight, we are asking you, do you think the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has made any progress in taming hate speech in the country? SMS your yes or no opinion to our SMS line, as always, 22155. You can tweet us at Ben_Kitili, at KTN News, and at KTN Kenya. We shall be sampling some of your texts and tweets during this live broadcast. So now we take a quick commercial break, but don't go too far. We'll be back shortly. This is KTN Prime. You're watching KTN Prime. Eyes are now on the speed of construction of a pipeline to enable Kenya to take advantage of our oil deposits. This is after the big news that Kenya has discovered more oil deposits in the Kerio Valley, estimated to be about 808 million barrels of crude. Etienne Zabiagina now tells us what this means for the country at a time when global oil prices have continued to tumble.
It is good news for Kenya after it announced discoveries of more oil in Kerio Valley region in the North Rift of the country.
They have finished drilling and in that basin, and what I can only say is they have encountered good oil shows. I think that is the brief which I can give on that.
Keter says his ministry is working to ensure that locals benefit from the new discoveries by enforcing proper revenue sharing models.
The basin is good. They have encountered good oil shows.
Tests are still underway as the well is supposed to test the petroleum potential of one of the leads identified in the block. Despite the potential of the area being more than 800 million barrels of oil, each prospective area has a different level of risk in terms of ability to yield oil.
Story and pictures of the lapse.
According to Talo Oil, the first well in Kerio Valley Basin, Chepkutet 1, has encountered good oil shows across a gross interval of over 700 meters. The new finds are a boon for the country, which is a net importer of oil. Kenya currently imports refined petroleum products worth about 350 billion shillings, almost a quarter of the national budget. Experts believe that if the country starts exporting the commodity, this would significantly cut on the import bill. Kenya had discovered oil in Turkana averaging about 600 million barrels. Kenya and neighboring Uganda have both made oil finds but are yet to start commercial production, part of a string of energy discoveries along the east coast of Africa. Abi Agina, KTN News.
Good news for Kenya there. Now, while some families hire their children living with disabilities and see them as heavy burdens, a boy in Narok County is the pride of both his family and his school. KTN's Lofty Matambo has the inspiring story of a student with disability who is the school's head boy, school's games captain, volleyballer, a footballer, and a top academic performer. Take a look.
Mimi ni kiranja wa shule, hata wa darasa, na pia mimi ni captain wa mpira. Asante.
19-year-old Victor is like a wolf in a group of lions, struggling to match his peers with resilience and enthusiasm. Both his hands are vividly abnormally short, but that does not deny him the balance needed in the game of soccer. He dribbles and even outdoes his opponents.
Wanitarau kwa sababu wanaona kama tuko tunaweza pamoja.
Perhaps that is why the leadership of Isinon Primary School, a school in the middle of the plains of Narok County, trusted him with leadership. Victor punishes the wrongdoers. Victor shakes hands. He also fights for his space. No game takes place without his go-ahead.
Nilisaliwa tu lakini sikupelekwa anywhere. Lakini nilianza tu hivyo nikaenda shule.
He is the third born in a family of 6, a pastoralist family. They could not take him to a special school. But that did not give Victor any headache. He largely uses sports to make himself feel appreciated by his friends, volleyball being his favorite. Victor is so sharp in class that he coaches his classmates a number of subjects. Mathematics is a walk in the park for him. He has never been below position 3 since he joined Nasser School. He confesses, now he is in class 8.
Nianza kushika chalk na nafanya hisabati. Lakini sisi andika juu, andika hapo chini tu.
He uses what he has to accomplish his tasks. His mouth supports one of his feeble fingers while writing on the board, with his classmates only paying attention to the figures he is well conversant with.
By 2.
Only 41% of the total population of Narok can read and write, putting Narok County at position 42 out of 47 counties on matters of literacy. This is according to a 2014 report by Interagency Rapid Assessment together with the Red Cross. The 2009 census indicated 2.3% of Narok residents living with a certain type of disability. That is 19,000 of the total population of 800,000. Many parts of the larger Ma community are yet to comprehend disability. Many families regarding disabled children as outcasts. But Victor seems ready to change this perception.
Kwa mwili ni disability, lakini kwa kichwa inatumika.
Wakati alikuwa mdogo si ndio tulikuwa tutamsaidia kufalisha nguo, kumuosha, mpaka akafika sasa anaweza jifalisha na anaweza andika.
Victor understands too well the secret behind the mantra that success is 99% sweat and 1% inspiration.
In a community where one will cite only barriers and challenges, Victor is taking his time to redefine the common phrase beating all odds. Truly, he's beating all odds to emerge victorious in chasing after his dreams. Lofty Matambo, KTN News, in Narok County.
Victor is simply an enigma. Thanks, Lofty, for that. You're watching KTN Prime. Thank you for staying with us. After this quick commercial break, Joy Doreen Bira will be taking a look at the latest in the economic and corporate world on KTN Business. Stay with us.
You guys want some juicy fruit?
Yeah, sure.
Juicy fruit, so sweet you can't help but chew.
What we bring is the party. Smirnoff vodka, exclusively for everybody.
Nothing here to see, just a kill out me. Trying to cut some teeth, trying to figure it out. Nothing better to do when I'm stuck on you. I'm still in here trying to figure it out.
Physics, chemistry, biology, English and Swahili, mathematics, geography and history, hiyo ni damu ya babake Bogua. When other kids are busy club doodling huko Westlands, drinking second-hand liquor, Kraja is here fibering in the house, doing online tutorial and studying for his exam. There is no need of paying holiday tuition. I got fiber to the home 5 Mbps at only 5,000 Kenya shillings per month.
Selena!
For you.
But these are old methods. Look at this.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? New Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes stains, kills germs, and removes bad odors for shiny, clean, and fresh toilets.
Wow! So you should also partake. All-in-one challenge.
Presenting new Harpic cage blocks. Place the hook and block into the cage, click onto the rim of the toilet bowl, and you're good to go. Each block is activated by water in each flush, so you get a clean, hygienic, and fresh-smelling toilet for up to 4 weeks. Harpic cage blocks. Freshness. I will take my place among the stars. Naweza, ninaweza.
KTN Business Today in association with Safaricom. Take your business to the next level with fast, affordable internet via Safaricom Fiber for Business. From as low as 4,999 shillings for 5 Mbps per month.
Good evening and thank you for keeping it KTN. Time now for business. My name is Joy Doreen Bira. The World Bank has approved an International Development Association credit worth 20.2 billion shillings or about $200 million to support Kenya's devolution. The international financial institution that provides loans to developing countries for capital programs is focusing on 5 key areas in enhancing devolution in the counties, including public finance management systems, human resource management, planning, monitoring and evaluation of systems, civic education and public participation, as well as intergovernmental relations. According to the World Lender, the credit facility is geared towards performance-based grants, which are 80% of the credit, creating incentives for counties to participate while providing additional resources for investment. Kenya remains among the top 10 borrowers from the World Bank and in March 2015 got 48 billion shillings for the Kenya Electricity Modernization Project. And let's keep it with more news now. And the budget estimates are out, and these are usually given out so public service or public servants can be able to question. This includes ministers and members of parliament. And so let's quickly take a look at who some of the bigger winners are with the current budget estimates that have been put out. Now, what we're seeing now is that the ICT ministry is among the bigger winners here, as the estimates show that they have been allocated about 6.3 billion shillings. Now, the Teachers Service Commission as well, with an allocation of 6.8 billion shillings. And this could actually include the teachers' salaries for the next financial year. The Interior Ministry as well with 6.1 billion shillings, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well, that has to invest huge in promoting Kenya to the rest of the world. Let's now take a look at some of the losers for the 2016-2017 budget, those that could be the losers. The National Treasury as well is taking a budget cut here at 16.2 billion shillings. Agriculture as well is taking a budget cut right here, despite the fact that it is the biggest contributor to the country's GDP, seems to be given about 11 billion shillings. Education, 14 billion. Planning as well, 7.5 billion. Infrastructure, 3.9 billion. This actually did take up quite a bit of the budget last year. And tourism as well, 3.4 billion shillings. Questions could be around why exactly tourism is taking a budget cut, knowing that Kenya is recovering from the bad numbers in the past 2 years. But, you know, we all await the budget reading in 3 months' time. That's going to be in June. Let's now move on and take a look at other stories and progress on the Mombasa-Nairobi standard gauge railway. Construction is said to be 75% complete. According to the Kenya Railway Corporation, the 472-kilometer railway line aims to connect Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda and South Sudan. The Mombasa-Nairobi SGR is the biggest infrastructure project in Kenya, set to shorten the passenger travel time from Mombasa to Nairobi from more than 10 hours to a little more than 4 hours. Construction of the 609-kilometer long line began in October 2013 and is scheduled to be complete by December 2017. At least 60 new jobs a kilometer are expected.
Of the subgrade works by the end of this month, March. We have already finished work on the culverts, and we have already finished, like I've said, work on the bridges in this section, the substructure works. What is remaining on the substructure works is this bridge DK 72 plus 300 Taru, called the Taru Bridge, Taru Super Major Bridge. That is the only bridge works that are remaining here.
It will be relief tonight for consumers after the government yielded to demands by the public to reduce electricity connection costs by about 10 shillings from the current 35 shillings. Now, the move is geared towards increasing the number of household connections to the grid by the year 2017.
I want to say from today, the connection charges, which the domestic and the light load customers who are being charged 35,000 will from today be paying 15,000. that will enhance our connectivity to the 70%.
Kenya needs to increase the uptake of science, technology, engineering and mathematics courses at tertiary levels to bridge the mismatch between the country's development needs and the training being offered in schools. Kenya has a shortage of 400,000 artisans, 30,000 engineers and 90,000 technicians, and as a result, the Education Ministry is seeking to transform higher education to increase the skills supply in the country.
We need to reorient our education system so that we can prepare our children to meet the demands of the 21st century. That is critical. We have to do that kind of thing. We have created probably the most diverse and most inclusive framework for reviewing the curriculum so that we have constant conversations and ensure that by the end of the year we actually have come up with a curriculum we can live with that recognizes and provides opportunity for talent pathways to move forward. I mean, we all don't have to sit in the university and get a degree. We have talents. I mean, we have musicians, we have artists, we have multiple skills. And you can see the creativity.
And so beginning tomorrow, most of the cabinet secretaries are going to be talking about their scorecards, how much has been achieved the past 3 years of the Jubilee government. And here at KTN, we'll keep you up to date with that. And you can stay tuned to KTN News and KTN Home for more updates. My name is Joy Doreen Bira. Thank you for watching KTN Business.
Welcome back once again. Let's go to sports, and in a story we have been following, and the World Anti-Doping Agency WADA has cleared and returned the Anti-Doping Bill 2016 ready for legislation, which if passed in Parliament will clear Kenya's path to the Olympic Games in August. On Tuesday evening, the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, ADAC consultant and legal experts from WADA had a teleconference from Montreal in Canada and ratified the issues on the bill and the policy and ensured it conforms with WADA code. Kiplimo Rugut, the ADAC CEO, said the two agencies went through the bill and the content of the policy and harmonized the areas which were non-compliant with the WADA code. Rugut was speaking at an anti-doping seminar in Kapsabet where more than 180 athletes were in attendance.
If we find WADA stands for the World Anti-Doping Code. That is the Bible that tells us everything we need what happens. But you as an athlete, you have some right from that point up to the point at which you give your sample. For example,
documents are ready now for presentation to Parliament once we complete the editing which remains, and also the binding of the same. Having done that, then that means that we have fulfilled most of what WADA required in terms of compliance.
Advising the athletes on what not to do in terms of meeting the requirements of WADA. And so we are quite happy to work with ADAC, and we are going to cooperate.
The Kenya Volleyball Federation League champions, the General Service Unit GSU and the Kenya Prisons volleyball team played each other in a friendly match at the Kasarani Indoors Arena as a build-up out of the Africa Men Club Championships in Cairo, Egypt. The Africa Club Championships will see the best clubs in Africa converge in Cairo. Kenya will be represented by the Kenya Prisons team as well as the GSU. No Kenyan club has ever won the Africa Club Championship title. 11th time champions Al Ahly, Sfax from Tunisia and Zamalek have been tipped as the front runners. GSU, who are the Kenyan champions, hope to bag the trophy and make an entry to continental history books.
Matayarisho tumejitayarisha mzuri, tumekuwa na wakati mwema ya kufanya mazoezi na sasa hizi tuko tayari kwa sababu tumekuwa tukienda hii mchuano kwa miaka 10 na kurudi nyuma, so nafikiri mwaka tuko na matarajio mazuri. Tumeishi Waarabu wakitusumbua, na mwaka huu mpaka tujitahidi, hatuwezi sema wako wazuri, hata sisi tuko wazuri, so naenda kushinda hili kombe.
KTN Weather in association with Bulletin.
Longer because I bought Mortin Doom Power Guard, which kills 100% mosquitoes. Mortin Doom Power Guard kills 100% mosquitoes.
Will bring you in association with DSTV.
So tonight we did report that the National Cohesion and Integration Commission has hit out at politicians and the media for propagating hate speech in the country. And the big question we did ask you, do you think the NCIC has made any progress in taming hate speech in Kenya? Very quickly to some of your texts and tweets. Angie Kivisu on Twitter says, as usual, they are all talk but no show. They lack teeth and seem to fear upsetting the political class. Felix Okoko says, not it failed. People culpable are walking out. They're free, a clear indication of failure. George Washira says NCIC is like a toothless dog. They bark but cannot bite. James Modime says there's a lot of hate speech on social media platforms. A little or no effort is being done to tame it. And finally, Phil Malile says the war will never be won, especially when our leaders are involved. A lot of hate on FM stations. Thank you for your tweets.